Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSC.
Matic Network, get that crypto. It's not hard, it's so simple. Matic Network, Matic Network, Matic Network, Matic Network.
First off, I have to go ahead and shout out Awaken again. Follow him on Twitter. He is the artist behind that song. He's also very interesting on Twitter, so you just gotta check him out. Also, we have Mikey or Mikey_BTO on Twitter. Another great follow. He's actually the graphic designer that developed the graphical side of my intro. Shout out to both of them. Thank you very much, for the love and support here and allowing me to, use your guys' work. Now, there's just so much to get into when it comes to Matic. I mean, this would have to be my full-time job to really keep up. So we're just going to talk about the highlights and some of the important things that I believe are important to follow while you're looking at this project or if you're holding Matic. Many investors, of course, are interested in price action, so we'll go over that real lightly. We'll go over the Twitter and some of the things that are going on right now. There's a lot going on right now, not to mention that in the near future we'll have staking coming, like easy delegation staking coming, where pretty much anyone will be able to really join very easily in the staking process, which will probably allow other exchanges to easily jump on board. So staking is something that's being developed as we speak and will be coming. More of the staking features will be coming very soon. Not to mention that we have the Matic mainnet coming, and obviously anytime there's a mainnet, there's a lot of other people sitting on the sidelines waiting for a mainnet so that they can get involved with the project. Those are probably other projects looking to onboard or be scaled by Matic, and so much more. I mean, there's the possibilities of Coinbase Pro listings and Coinbase staking and all this stuff in the future, but right now we got a lot going on, so we'll talk about that. We'll also go over this article by Perry. He publishes a lot of articles on publishox.com. I'll link the article down below so you can check out his articles. He's amazing. He's like a professor, and he just breaks down very technical information and makes it very easy to understand. So we'll be going over one of his articles. I will very lightly go over this article. This is an article on the Matic blog, and I'll go ahead and touch on this article. It's also very interesting. So it's explaining plasma and rollups, advantages and limitations regarding the Matic network and other projects. And then this article by Perry, it says Matic Network, Vitalik Buterin's 2017 plasma sidechain vision imminent. Millions TPS, multiple blockchains, interoperability, horizontal sharding, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Gold, Cosmos, interblockchain technology. So this goes into a lot of detail. This will all be towards the end. So to start off, let's start off with price action. The chart looks very constructive. I know a lot of people in crypto don't like triangles. I love triangles. I think triangles are tradable in, TA for crypto. But, essentially after this attack that we had on Matic, we did kind of form this very constructive kind of rounding kind of form here, starting to round here. Now, we were in this triangle here. You can debate whether you want to call it a symmetrical triangle or an ascending triangle. It's very, very close to being an ascending triangle, so I personally would have traded it like an ascending triangle. And if you do that, you take the length of the base of the triangle or the length of the triangle at the end here, and you bring it over to the breakout point, and that kind of gives you a target. So essentially, that meets up very closely with the 0.382. So I could see there being some major resistance for the Matic network around 2.7 cents. But I think it's going to break this point. We might get a little bit of a constructive pullback at that point. But these indicators look amazing. I don't see why there wouldn't be pullbacks between here and 2.7 cents. But essentially, in the meantime, this is a 4-hour chart, so it gives us an idea of where we're at in the short term, medium term. You have these Stokes, they're very erect, pointing up. You have the histogram on the MACD looking green. You had a buy signal recently suggesting this breakout. Another little tiny ascending triangle looking pattern was forming here, and we did get the breakout on that. We did get the Stokes and the MACD basically suggesting that a breakout was coming. RSI, we're in the bullish territory at this point on a 4-hour, so everything is very bullish about this chart at this point. There's probably, there probably can be, possibly a little pullback to around, 2.255 cents possibly, but, maybe even as low as 0.2214. But really, I mean, this looks very constructive. Like it'll probably continue to just keep going up. I would say, this is not trading advice. This is just analysis that I'm doing here. I'm not trading this at all because this is a long-term hold for me. But price action looks really great. I'd say there isn't, major resistance till about the 0.382 right over here. Also the breakout target of this triangle here, whatever type of triangle you want to classify it as. And, then, after that you have maybe the all-time high up here at 0.42 or 4.2 cents area. So chart looks very constructive. I'm not worried about any of this price action at this time, of course, unless Bitcoin breaks down. But, if Bitcoin breaks down heavily. Other than that, chart looks great. Now, what we got going on, there's a lot going on. You have the Matic Network DApp week. So there's applications being deployed to the Matic Network daily. And this says, we are happy to announce our first ever DApp week in preparation for our mainnet launch. We will be announcing 5 new dApps from February 3rd to the 7th. So this is already occurring. 1 dApp per day, which will be going live on our beta mainnet and transitioning to our full mainnet once launched. Stay tuned. So there has been many dApps that have already been deployed because the 3rd was a couple days ago. And I'm just kind of scrolling through my Twitter. This is, I don't know why I didn't like this. I retweeted and didn't like it. But this is Awaken here. He made a video, and he has some graphics that he put to his song. So he's just making all kinds of great things. One of the apps that came out recently was Crypto Warrior Z, this game here. And I actually have already started it. It's actually very, very fun. It's seamless. The graphics are they're great for being, a crypto type game. I believe they will be introducing NFTs and in-game trading of the game's NFTs. All of this will be happening due to the Matic Network scalability. So this is awesome. This is actually a fun game. I'd say check it out. You can play it on your phone. Of course, Perry coming out with articles all the time. I'd say follow him. He's at PEREXUS on Twitter. Another dApp that came out was Moonshot, and this says here on day 2 of dApp week, we're thrilled to announce Moonshot, a decentralized trading platform powered by Matic and Bitconomy. So essentially it says Moonshot provides a seamless UX through built-in meta gasless transactions and is now live on Matic. I actually have not been able to, I haven't had time to get to this, but this app looks pretty cool. It's a game for trading essentially, and I definitely want to take a look at it. And here's Jane T. He's actually putting out some more information about stage 1 of Counterstake, which is going on right now. So there's a lot of development behind the scenes happening for staking for Matic. got to check this out. This is a great article to take a look at. You can follow me on Twitter to go ahead and take a look at all this stuff that I'm posting and get access to the articles and things that I am putting out there. Here's another article that was actually very interesting. Mikey put it out there, and if you want to follow him, like I said in the beginning, he's at Mikey_BTO. There's a lot of things happening in India right now, and it's not illegal to own crypto like some news agencies are putting out there in India. Technically, you can own it, and there's a very big market of person-to-person trading going on in India. One of the issues is with their central bank, the RBI, and the ability to take crypto funds and cash it into your bank, or basically make transactions with the bank there. So that's being hashed out, but a lot of people have a lot of positive sentiment, believing that that will be taken care of because they've been hashing this out in court for a long time, and there's a very big possibility that the government and the central bank work it out, and there's some type of workaround or ability for this issue to go away, which would mean there's a lot of money that would be coming from India into the crypto market. So of course, like we've seen many times with the different countries, you see the countries support projects that are startups out of their countries, and Matic is one of them. WazirX token is one of them. WazirX is an exchange that was recently acquired by Binance. So it's also, WazirX is an Indian exchange out of India essentially. So you could see their token see some appreciation. Binance coin, because of Binance acquiring WazirX, so the BNB token. These are all native assets that could see some positive momentum just because of actions that are going on within India right now. So this is something to take a look at. This is a good article. I'm always coming out with things. I actually found this graphic here on the internet, and it was actually sent to me, and I don't know who exactly created this, but it is a Matic 2019 yearly recap. Basically, I'm just saying 2019 was just a part of the beginning. Keep your eyes on the Matic Network, because if you look away, you might never catch up again. So very true. I mean, they have so much success in 2019. I think 2020 is just going to blow 2019 away, so you got to keep your eyes on it. I'm talking about altcoin season. Moonshot, again, that's the app we were talking about. Another dApp that was deployed on the Matic Network that's going to be following over onto the mainnet is this game, Light Trail Rush. It is essentially like a racing game from what I can see. There's NFTs involved. NFTs are the futures, guys, so you really got to just look at it. I've said before that I really believe that NFTs is like buying Bitcoin back in 2014, because nobody really knows a lot about NFTs, and it is a little hard. There's some learning curve to be able to acquire them and hold them, but it's like being at the ground floor of something. So knowing that these applications are going to be able to achieve success because of the scaling, because of Matic Network scaling solution, these dApps are things that are very interesting that you might want to go ahead and look at. And also, they're fun to play. So this is another dApp that I really want to take a look at soon. Again, this is the Crypto Warrior Z dApp that came out recently. I'm just posting stuff about it. And yeah, I mean, this post here is just me talking about another article that came out that the Matic blog produced, talking about basically the roll-ups in Plasma and just the Matic Networks teams vision for the future of second layer scaling solution. And what I'm saying is that this article here is proof that the Matic Network is the superior layer 2 scaling mechanism for Ethereum currently. It's also proof that the Matic team will continue to always try to implement the best scaling solutions going forward, because they're not done. They don't just have something and it's not like they're never going to tweak it or be able to develop something more to it or basically make it better. This is an ongoing thing. So I said this is not a stubborn team. It is a continuously researching to implement top tech team. So obviously on Twitter you only have so many letters that you can put out there, so I had to cram it in there. But essentially I'm saying this team is always going to be researching and trying to make the best second layer scaling solution available. And this article goes over just about how they're going to do that and the research that they're doing, and that they are very open-minded to future scaling solutions. And essentially that is what this article is talking about, that I was talking about in the beginning of the video, that I'll go ahead and link down below. So let me make sure we're still got the cam live. All right, so this article is explaining a little bit about Plasma, which is what Matic uses, their side chains, and also they are talking about other projects, how they may be using rollups or are trying to use rollups to scale Ethereum. It talks about the advantage and limitations based off the Matic team's viewpoint. And what they're saying is essentially true. You can go ahead and cross-reference this with other pieces of information. There's a lot of limitations currently for rollups, like ZK rollups, optimistic rollups. I personally think Plasma is the only viable. It is essentially the only thing that is currently there and scaling things at the rate that it is scaling dApps and projects. But also, it's the only thing that makes sense in the near future. I think rollups have a long time before they become viable on some type of level, and this article goes into that. So I'll link it down below. I won't go too much into it because I do want to go over Perry's article. So I read the title here earlier, so we're going to go ahead and read through this very quickly. If you don't like articles, you can cut the video here, but I would suggest listening and letting this play in the background or something like that, because this article is great. It has a lot of information that really shows you just how powerful Matic is and what it can do in the future, possibly, more unlikely. So here it says, and again, none of anything I ever talk about in this video is financial advice. This is my opinions, and this is research that me and other people have done, and I'm just sharing the top and the most important things that I can think of as quickly as possible, because there really is just too much to keep up with this project. So here we go. On the 11th of August 2017, Vitalik Buterin and Joseph Poon published Plasma, Scalable Autonomous Smart Contracts, the proposed Plasma sidechain framework for enforced and incentivized execution of smart contracts was capable of scaling potentially billions of state updates per second, thus enabling the representation of a substantial number of decentralized financial applications, DeFi, globally. Buterin and Poon 2017. So as always, Perry references what he's saying. He's not just saying things, he can back it up, and there's references down at the bottom of his article. That's why I like his articles. Continuing, the framework allows for multiple blockchains to exist within a root blockchain, in this instance the Ethereum blockchain, see figure 1 below. To be clear, not only Ethereum-based tokens can be used to create individual blockchains, but integration is possible with any blockchain. So that's really awesome, because the future is all about interoperability, integration, things coming together and working together. This is the future is about the internet of blockchains. For example, Harmony 1 has fully integrated with Matic. So it's not just Ethereum, it's also Harmony 1 or 1 that is integrated with Matic for scaling solution. Other examples of blockchains that would benefit by fully integrating or using modified Plasma or Matic Plasma sidechains are Cosmos, Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin Gold. The reason for this will be elaborated in the third section. However, the three mentioned are only a few. Currently, over 40 projects are building on Matic, awaiting the imminent final mainnet in Q1. So that is soon, guys. And numerous other projects are still deciding on how to scale. The infographic in the next section shows a more comprehensive list of partnerships. So essentially, what this is saying is that there not only is a lot of projects already using Matic to scale, but there's a lot of projects trying to figure out where they're going to go. If they wait too long, they're going to get left behind. You can't just wait for months on months and months while you're trying to fund a team. You're going to have to make a decision at some point when other applications are developing and moving forward. You don't want to be left behind. Matic is the only scaling solution at this time that makes sense. I think that there's going to be a lot more success for the Matic network coming soon. And Perry's basically saying, Cosmos, Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin Gold are just some of the other projects that could use Matic's second layer scaling solution. And also, there's probably a lot of other dApps that are going to also want to be deployed on top of the Matic network, which is on top of Ethereum. So I'm not going to go into this figure here. We'll just skip down. How is millions or billions of transactions per second possible? Horizontal sharding. This is something not a lot of people know about. In order to understand this, it is necessary to comprehend the theoretical speed of plasma sidechains as well as the concept of horizontal sharding. A Matic sidechain has a theoretical speed of 12 to the power of 16, in other words, 65,000 transactions per second. On a single sidechain, TPS is transaction per second. So, essentially, theoretically, they're able to do that many transactions per second on one single sidechain, and they can have multiple sidechains. So, the term horizontal sharding refers to multiple linked sidechains for individual projects or blockchains, according to Gianti in an article, What is Matic Network? Theoretically, there can be an infinite number of sidechains working under the secured and decentralized layer of checkpoints. However, an infinite number will not be required. Currently, prior to mainnet, Matic is achieving 10,000 transactions per second, which is just blowing away a lot of other solutions. Nevertheless, the goal is to achieve as close to 65,000 transactions per second as is possible. Mainnet is due for release by the end of March 2020, so Q1 of this year, guys. The Matic network has the capacity for millions of transactions per second and possibly billions as envisioned by Feburary and Poon in 2017, just 2.5 years ago. So Matic has made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time, where many projects have not been able to go. Matic Network team has been able to do it. So, continuing, it started in 2017 when Gianti, which is the CEO of Matic, began seeking a solution to the scaling issue. He began contributing substantially to Plasma research, and Matic developed one of the first implementations of Plasma MVP, or more viable Plasma. Matic remains the most viable implementation of Plasma. Many who have heard of Matic have heard of scaling with regard to Matic Plasma sidechains, but most do not understand that Matic also uses horizontal sharding for multiple link sidechains. According to Vitalik Buterin, sharding is inherently more fragile or less secure than Plasma. Buterin states that a likely approach is a sharded base layer with Plasma chains on top to provide further scalability. Harmony has selected this option with Matic Plasma sidechain integration for the best possible scalability. Overall, with regard to scalability, it does appear that Plasma sidechains are the best solution available, and that literally most blockchains can solve the scalability problems by integrating them. Scalability has proven to be one of the main issues that have prevented mass adoption and large institutional investments to date. What is Perry saying, guys? What he's saying is that there's a lot of money, institutional investments, a lot of applications that are just waiting to be scaled right now that are sitting on top of Ethereum that are more than likely, are they going to wait for, roll-ups, or are they going to jump on board with what's available right now that works, which is the Matic Network? So, Ethereum, Matic Network, the applications, and all this money on top of it. What Perry's saying is that there's a lot riding on this success here, and that there's a lot more success that's probably going to be coming because the Matic Network is able to scale. And what he's saying is that they use the Matic Network use horizontal sharding and also plasma sidechains to do this. So, amongst other things. So he has an infographic here of a lot of the partnerships, and he names his source CryptoZack10, and he gives the link to go ahead and follow him on Twitter. Now, continuing, we're towards the middle or end of this here. It says Cosmos, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Gold, and interoperability. There are many blockchains that can be integrated with Matic Plasma sidechains such as Cosmos, Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin Gold. This article will briefly consider these three. So essentially, what's really important to note as a side note is that not only are there dApps that are going to be deployed on top of Matic to scale, just like Ethereum is using the second layer, which is Matic, to scale the applications, other first layers like Ethereum, like Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Gold, Harmony One, they will be able to have Matic as a second layer solution on top of them, scaling so that the applications that may want to use them as an option can scale. So that's infinite. There's so many layer ones out there that Matic Network can possibly not only just be used for the leading smart contract platform, which is Ethereum, but possibly many other layer one projects. And not a lot of people really think about that because they're just like, oh, it's just Ethereum. I think my project is better than Ethereum. Well, your project may be using the Matic Network to scale in the future. So firstly, Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum and became Ethereum Classic after the hard fork in 2016 following the messy divorce, which resulted from the DAO hack. What is most interesting is that due to recent updates like Constantinople and the upcoming Istanbul in March 2020, Ethereum Classic will become fully compatible with Ethereum blockchain and can take advantage of the Layer 2 scaling technology offered by Matic Network Plasma sidechain scaling architecture. Currently, ETC scales at about 14 transactions per second. This state of the ETC blockchain can be changed in the near future by integrating with the Matic Network. So, hey, look out for ETC. Might be making some scaling solution choices soon. Next, Bitcoin Gold. Bitcoin Gold is another project that can benefit by scaling. Bitcoin Gold is a fork of Bitcoin that occurred on October 24, 2017. Bitcoin Gold changed Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm from SHA-256 to Equihash, rendering specialized mining equipment obsolete in an attempt to democratize the Bitcoin mining process. Pretty interesting. Bitcoin Gold's current transaction per second rate is approximately 7. The Bitcoin roadmap specifies plasma sidechain development, actual deployment of sidechains backed by the main chain. This allows tremendous bandwidth, throughput, and rapid code execution on the plasma sidechain while enjoying fund security on the main chain. So, some reference here. It says it would appear that the Bitcoin Gold are behind with the roadmap due to numerous other developments that are in progress. Integration with Matic Network and the support of the seasoned and experienced Matic team in the area of plasma sidechain development will expedite the process of achieving the Bitcoin Gold development team goals for Layer 2 plasma scaling. So essentially, Bitcoin Gold is already looking at plasma as a scaling option and has been, and it's on the roadmap. And what Perry is saying is that, Matic Network would easily be able to help them with this. Cosmos, which has been in the news recently because of Coinbase and because of their success. Cosmos has achieved great results for scaling as a Layer 1 blockchain, but much higher throughput is needed for blockchains envision growth globally, mass adoption. The Cosmos blockchain will need to use Layer 2 scaling solutions such as the Matic Network. The Cosmos Interblockchain Technology Protocol, when it goes live, will enable blockchains built on Cosmos to interact with the Matic Network and take advantage of the plasma sidechains as elaborated above. According to the website information, now the global economy can connect to the blockchain, and parties on existing blockchains can interact and exchange with each other across chains, which is Tendermint. Essentially, this is talking about the future, guys, which is the Internet of Blockchains. So Sandeep Nawal, COO of the Matic Network, clarified that IBC is Cosmos protocol for inter-blockchain connectivity, and since Matic is built on Tendermint, it has easy connectivity with the protocol, and hence interconnectivity will be live once IBC goes live. IBT is an interoperability protocol. Interoperability is defined as a characteristic of a product or system whose interface are completely understood to work with other products or systems at present or in the future in either implementation or access without any restrictions. Essentially what that's saying, interoperability is what we're looking for, which is all the blockchains working together. So everyone's still talking about their blockchain being the best, and maybe it is at certain things, but in the future these blockchains are all going to be working together. We're all one, guys. We need to really see that. And the scaling of these Layer 1 blockchains can definitely happen due to the Matic Network, so it can help scale all of these Layer 1s. And with Cosmos and their interoperability technology, and all these projects can work together at some point in the future, is what this is essentially saying. So Matic interoperability. In addition to the Ethereum main chain, the Matic Network intends to integrate multiple leading smart contract platforms, cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and others, to provide a universal platform for the users to be able to exchange their assets from various blockchains. In a nutshell, this means that other blockchains will be able to interact with the Matic Network using their own native tokens or coins. This process is explained by Perry under the article subheading Integration of Other Blockchains' Native Tokens with the Matic Network. Summary. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and go over this. Might as well. We've gone this far. Feburary and Poon's 2017 vision of plasma sidechains potentially scaling millions or even billions of transactions per second is imminent. The Matic Network mainnet built on the Ethereum blockchain will go live in Q1 of 2020. Scaling blockchains to achieve high throughput will be possible by using Matic plasma sidechains. The dilemma preventing mass and institutional adoption will have been removed through the efforts of numerous individuals, and beginning with Feburary and Poon's academic paper on plasma scaling, horizontal sharding combined with plasma sidechains will result in millions of transactions per second as scaling adoption continues to expand, and will likely result in exponential growth. Numerous projects that have built on Matic will launch their projects when Matic mainnet arrives in the near future. Other projects such as Bitcoin Gold and Ethereum Classic are in a favorable position now to integrate and develop partnerships with Matic. To secure layer 2 scaling for their individual blockchains, the IBT protocol will likewise enable all blockchains built on Cosmos to use the Matic layer 2 solution for optimal scaling through interoperability protocols. And Perry outlines the way that projects can go ahead and contact the Matic team. This is an amazing article. There is a lot here, and you may want to go ahead and take a look down below to kind of get a better understanding for yourself by reading it for yourself. But this article here and this article here explaining why Matic's current setup is a lot better than rollups and other scaling solutions are really important articles to understand, especially if you're an investor in Matic and you want to understand the difference between these scaling solutions. Everyone wants to find the best thing, the project that's probably going to have the most success in the future, and these articles really outline that. So beyond that, Matic looks great. On the charts, you can follow me at circle_crypto. You can follow Awaken at AYEWAKEN, and you can follow Mikey at MIKEY_BTO, and you can follow Perry at here. Let me get his exact. I'm going to look it up because I want you guys to follow him. He has a lot of articles at PEREXUS. Check them out, guys. Great Matic information. Beyond following at Matic Network, these are some great people to follow. And never give up on the future of money. Take it easy, guys.
Matic Network, get that crypto. It's not hard, it's so simple. Matic Network, Matic Network, Matic Network.